on that channel, I will actually start fucking like I will get Instagram back and learn how to do back
Yeah.
end fit. Yeah, we have a better
God.
process.
Um. Okay. If I'm gonna be talking like this, keep talking normally.
Yeah, what's up?
Keep
Hello.
going. Just keep going.
Yeah, okay. So,
Okay. Cool. Never mind. We're good. The
oh,
audio's
okay.
audio should be fine. I think I just hit live, so I'm gonna see my channel.
Yep, it's there.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna post it onto Instagram.
Hmm. Your camera is not on
God damn
currently.
it.
That's the only thing
Here,
that's moving.
I'll post and I'll fix that.
Okay. Real Society. Nice description. Maybe that would help. Having we can also start writing descriptions before the stream for promo.
Okay.
Ooh, these were some albums. These were some albums.
Do we have anybody in the chat?
No. I'm just yapping. Let me open up my notes document. Boy Soprano. That song is so fucking hype. I'm gonna listen to it right fucking now.
I'm gonna ping the Straw Hats Discord.
Hell yeah.
Should I?
I'll do it.
Okay. I made the funniest fucking edit. I edited a picture. I just sent it to you. What'd you say? God damn it, too.
Wait, what was that?
I just sent you this one picture I edited. Oh, Krish is here.
Hi, Krish.
All right. I'm literally gooning. I think it's time to start. All right, you ready, Aiden?
Yeah, of course.
All right, joke's on you.
Joke's on me.
My camera's been working this whole time.
Oh no, it's a cosplay. No.
I am music's busiest. I'm the world's busiest music nerd. You're not even picking up. I don't know if the mic broke.
No, I can hear you. Holy shit.
I gave Brat a 10 out of 10.
So real.
You ever listen to Swans?
Shut the fuck up. Wait.
Well, guys, welcome to Societycore.
This
On
is
our Shoo
unhinged.
episode.
You're insane.
I said I was becoming Anthony Fantano.
Yeah, I thought you were like gonna do like a favorite tracks, least favorite tracks out of 10 ranking, not a cosplay.
I wonder if I will.
Oh my god.
I gave the new Halsey album a 1 out of 10 because I'm misogynistic.
This is incredible. Wow, I feel like I'm never meet your heroes. Actually, can you please make the cosplay off? It's too real. Let's go, gamers! Let's go!
Special guest Anthony Fantano's in the house.
Is this your first Societycore stream? It's gonna be an unhinged one. You know what? I have an idea. I'll be right back.
I don't have an idea. What is What is Aiden gonna do? Hopefully this is a good way. First live one and I don't know the artist. Yeah, I didn't know the artist either. Um, yeah, hopefully on Societycore we can alleviate some stress from from yesterday. As you already know, me as Anthony Fantano, I'm an avid Trump supporter.
You can play at that game.
You got the red flannel.
Yeah, I also have
That one
spelling.
looks better than mine. Okay.
Yeah, my
Okay.
spelling shirt.
All right.
10 out of 10.
All right. 10 on 10.
Gamers, you do not need to know the artist. Because I feel like they will generate enough content just trying to fucking discuss and parse these albums alone. Holy shit. All right, welcome to the stream. Absolutely unhinged start.
That was such a good. I'm like, oh, I don't know why my camera's not working.
You fucking baited me. All right. So this artist, I will intro because I picked them. Welcome everyone to Societycore, the first episode of the Shoo Shoo episodes. This will be a what four
I think so.
parter?
I think that's the
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, 5 albums, and then because there's 17 albums total, 5 albums, then four, then four, then four. So we'll be covering Knife Play through
Air
what the
Force.
Air Force.
Yeah.
Shoo Shoo is an experimental band. This is our experimental season, and they are the most experimental band of the experimental artists we're covering.
Really?
You could kind of say rock a little bit. Um, you can kind of describe them as pop a little bit, but you can also call them industrial, avant-garde noise, fucking electronic. There's a lot of things that they are. The core member, uh, at least for these 5 albums, is Jamie Stewart, who uses they them pronouns and is openly bisexual, and also kind of one of the most interesting artists I know of. I read a lot of interviews, did a lot of research to go into this because like I wanted to know how do you make music this weird, and I think
Bro's got depression.
so, yeah, depression.
Not bro.
This is maybe our most society artist yet.
I would agree.
Yeah. So without further ado, I think how does it work? You
I
give
think
the
I
first
start,
album,
right?
yeah, because I
Okay.
gave yeah. So there's my intro to Shoo Shoo.
That's
Uh,
a great intro.
Please, thank you. Start us off with Knife
Knife
Play.
Play.
Oh
All
my
right.
god.
I think when I went into this, I was like, oh god, 17 albums. I got scared because I knew it was gonna be a lot, and I think the last one we did that had that many. I just know Bjork took a lot, and I was like, if it's experimental or like Death Grips, all that, all the experimental albums took a real lot to get through, and I was terrified when I heard that we had 17. But I was like, whatever, we'll go to the first one, and I was like, I was like, I'm not gonna like it. This is gonna be a brutal journey to get through. But I listened to the first album. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I was surprised because I feel like most of the time I feel I definitely, for me at least, when I'm listening to like experimental music, I really don't enjoy it like that first listen. I think usually it's kind of hard to enjoy a lot of experimental music for the first time through, and then the more you listen to it, you can kind of pick up on certain things and enjoy it more. But I think I really like this album a lot on my first listen. I think a lot of it was like, okay, this is just like cool. There's like some weird shit going on, but like at its core, there was like good songwriting throughout. And I think I just what I ended up saying is like, okay, this guy is really fucking going through so much fucking like pain and anger and sadness. I feel like you could like really relate to it. It almost kind of reminded me of car seat headrest at some points. But I remember it was just kind of like there's all the songs just had like this like weird shit going on, and they were like all very different. But I still feel like it was like I just kind of went through everything, and it was like it still felt like kind of cohesive um, throughout the whole thing, and I really enjoyed it.
Nice. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'd never heard this album prior to the choice. I had heard most of their second album, and then their most recent album, and an album of theirs from like 20, 2018, maybe, and then and then some other songs here and there. They'd always been on my radar, but never really dug into the discography. And I was expecting early in their discography to be rough. Uh, and then this album was really impressive. It had a couple tracks that were like so emotional. The lyricism is so weird and dark and like hurt, but it's also written in a way that's very like empathetic and like affirming. Um, like they'll describe some of the most depraved, awful situations that you've ever imagined. Some of the saddest things that could happen to a person, but in a very gentle, tactful way most of the time. And I think that colors the lyricism on all of these albums. Like that's just their writing style. It's kind of like almost a diary entries. Musically, there's a lot of like walls of sound, uh, comprised of like really compressed, crunchy synths and like heavy electronic and then distorted guitars. And then the percussion usually sounds like it's coming like from under the floorboards, if that makes sense. Uh, and it can be really scary or really, really cool. And then sometimes it just sounds bad. But most of the time, I really loved just like the soundscape of this album and their first two albums, because the first two I think have a very similar soundscape, uh, which is kind of like it feels like it was recorded under the floor of a really big spacey room, if that makes sense. It's kind of haunting and like there's a lot of grating bits. Um, and first fun fact that I found from researching this
Uh,
is Knife Play was mastered on September 11th, 2001 as the towers fell.
let's
So,
go.
so cursed already. Yeah, there's an interview where they're talking about how like they're going in and out of the studio, like
Oh
watching on
my
one of those old
god.
fucking CRT TVs, being like, this is really concerning. And their brother was in New York at the time,
It's
so
like,
they're
damn,
like,
that's
this
crazy. We
fucking
got an album to
sucks.
finish.
Exactly. So, insane fact. Um, yeah. Overall, I'm feeling pretty strong on this one. I think it's one that will probably change position a lot throughout the episodes, but right now I'm feeling like a solid at least B.
Oh, really?
Mm.
All right. I said that I gave it a strong 8 out of 10.
Oh wow.
Give it a strong 8 out of 10.
Strong
With
A's.
my favorite tracks being Luber, Hives
Yep.
Hives, Dr. Troll, Over Over, Suha, and Popo.
Wow,
So
that's a lot of favorite tracks.
I personally would give it an A.
All right. I think we should put it in A. I have
All
it
right.
as A minus slash B plus. I was leaning towards B, like top of B,
Yeah.
but like if it resonated with you like that, I'm down to put it there. Luber and Suha were my two favorites. I did a color coding
The Twin
ranking.
Towers were temporary, but Shushu is forever. God damn it, Krish.
Jesus.
God fucking damn it, Krish.
Uh, I hope so. I hope so. Um, yeah, Suha is one of the most like that song like crushed me. It felt like I got like tackled
Damn.
hearing it. It's so sad and so pretty. And then Luber is just kind of weird, but in a really interesting way. And
I
I
fuck with
like
it.
love the instrumentation. Yeah, that hearing that song for the first time, I was like, okay, I need to read some interviews because like, what is the explanation for this? Um, yeah, brutal, brutal stuff. I'm glad you enjoyed it that much though.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Do we go on to
I,
the next, the second album?
yeah, I'm trying to think. Do you have any like of the? Do you think that this is a good entry point for Shushu?
I mean, I haven't listened to everything, but
Of
I
the
would
first
say
five, is this where you would tell people to start?
I definitely would. I'd say yeah.
Okay,
Start with this one.
interesting. Yeah, I would say listen to Luber as a song or Don Diasco, and if you hate it, like Shushu's not for you.
Hmm.
All right, is it time for a promise?
I believe so.
So this is a very controversial album. The actual physical release is not censored.
Oh yeah.
This picture was taken at a gay cruising spot in Hanoi. Yeah, uh, Vietnam. And basically, Jamie Stewart was like solicited for sex, and they they brought this like person to where they were staying, and then they're like, "I'll pay you, but I don't want sex. Like, I just want to take a picture of you." And that's the picture. And then they paid him and then sent him on his way. Um, so that's fun fact number two.
I knew that one.
Yeah, yeah. I was really hyped for this album coming into it because I knew like four of the songs. I knew Sad Pony Gorilla Girl and Appestat Commander because those are like two of their of Shushu's most popular, biggest songs. They're absolutely incredible songs. I feel like those might be the best track starting point for them. But then most of the album I had not heard. Um, and so it was kind of hard to judge it fairly because I had pretty high expectations.
Mm.
Um, but after several listens, I came away very positive overall on the album. Um, I feel like it is not their best, but the fact that it is their most infamous and recognizable, like, does make a lot of sense. I think is deserved. Um, the sounds on this album are very similar to Knife Play, but I think overall it's more cohesive, more sophisticated. There's some strings on it, um, and there's also like one of the most haunting covers of any song ever with a cover of Tracy Chapman's Fast Car that I highly recommend. That's absolutely devastating. Um, and I really like the album. Yeah. How about what do you think?
I remember going into it. I think part of it was like I had no idea what their sound, like overall sound, was gonna be like. So this is like the second album I was listening to ever for them. Um, this might be the one artist where it's like I had not listened to a single song at all prior. So I went in like fully blind, but I was listening to it and I still enjoyed a lot of it. I thought a lot of it was pretty good, but I think like in terms of like being like surprised or like being interested in some of the songs that were playing, I felt like there was like I thought it was a little bit more over the place than the first album. I felt like there was like slightly less focus and couldn't really like pick like what exactly they I was supposed to like feel out of it or like stuff I was supposed to be into. So that's why it's weird because I think like some of the songs I really liked, and then there are other ones where I'm just like I don't really know what was going on there. Um, like I said, my favorite tracks were Sad Pony, Gorilla Girl, Apostat Commander, and then I put Blacks, and then
Mm,
also that cover of Fast Car because it's like it's almost like it almost feels like maybe the album would work better as like if there were less songs or the songs were like singles. I think the songs like work like pretty cool by themselves, but I think together put on the album, I'm not fully sold on it. But I think overall I still enjoyed it for the most part, and I give it a solid 7 out of 10.
solid seven, nice. I think is the like lack of cohesion more like the way that the songs sound, or is it just the emotions of them?
I think it might have been the emotion. I think I got to the end of it. I'm like, okay. I think the first album I was like I was kind of like I'm on this like journey, or it's like there's all these stories that I feel like are being told from these like other perspectives, and then this one I'm just kind of like I don't know what's going on. It seems like he's just
Mm,
kind of like either screaming in some stuff or they're doing like some things in other songs, and I was kind of lost. And I think again, like I said, for the most part, I still enjoyed it, but at the end, I was like, I don't know if I want to revisit some of the songs in this album more or than the songs I wanted to on like the first album. But I still think that that one cover, a Fast Car, is like really good. Like I think that the cover honestly might be like the best thing on the album for me, but it also feels like it shouldn't belong there, I guess.
yeah, I see. I do feel like Knife Play has lyrically like a lot of storytelling on it. It's like kind of vignette focused.
Yeah.
And in the commentary on it, there's a lot of talk about like I wrote this about this thing that happened. Um, and I think a promise is much more thematic. Fact number, I don't know what number we're on right now.
3.
So, okay, fact number three, a promise refers to the promise that Jamie made to their mother not to kill themselves.
Dear
Uh,
God.
which fact number
Holy
four,
fucking
uh,
shit.
is like the context for that is that their father did commit suicide. and Black's all of the lyrics but one on it are things that like Jamie overheard their father say before like committing suicide. So I think overall the album has a lot of like themes of hating life and wanting to get away from it, but also persevering and accepting the sadness that you feel without giving into it. Um, so thematically, I did think that that was very like it's a powerful idea, but I did agree that like the music itself was more over the place than Knife Play. But I enjoyed this album just a little bit more.
Mm.
Um, I have it as just A minus rather than A minus or B plus. So yeah, some very heavy, very sad stuff,
Yeah.
but also very affirming in a way that in these in these devastating times, I think is pretty comforting.
Yeah.
So, where are you thinking of placing it?
Um, so I gave it like a 7, so I think my initial one would have been like a B. But if you want to put it, I'm definitely down to put it in A. I guess I don't know if we'd put it before or after.
I'm fine with behind.
Okay.
Because I have them like technically they could be the same.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's just
Oh
the
yeah.
placement for part one.
Oh no.
What?
Jameson, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. Pistons got beat with a buzzer beater. The last thing I wanted to mention about A Promise is like the song Walnut House is a really good case study for how it is impossible to do lyric analysis without additional context. Because I read an article about what the fuck the lyrics mean, and they're absolutely incomprehensible unless you know what was going on in Jamie's life at this time because they're talking about like a really depraved sexual encounter and then like bird watching and or not even bird watching, they're just naming birds, and then it's like becomes dialogue with a family member and then it goes cycles through those three again, and it's like how could you ever know what that's referring to? And then they did a commentary on this album, and in it they explained like, oh yeah, I was like getting into some very like debauched situations that my parents didn't or my mom didn't know about, and she was like, be careful, and trying to be care for me. And at the same time, I got into bird watching, and also we were putting my grandmother in a home. And that's what the song is about, because all those three things happen to be going on at the same time.
Jesus
I'm like,
Christ.
there's no way you could know that. Yeah, sometimes if you can't figure out what a song is about, it's impossible. Uh,
My head's starting to hurt. The bald cap is like pressing on my head so hard I'm starting to get a headache.
uh, that's brutal.
Ugh. And maybe because I'm wearing these glasses.
You look so interesting. Uh,
$8.
that's
$8
impressive.
bald cap.
It's an impressive costume. All right.
I start the next one, right?
Yes, you do.
Fabulous muscles.
Yeah.
All right. So here I am, third album in. I'm like, what are they gonna do next? They start doing some pop music, and I'm like, okay, I see you, Jamie. I see where you're going. Um, I listened to the whole thing. And I think the first listen, I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. And then I listened to it a couple more times, and it started to like lose the appeal to me. I don't know if it was this one or the next album. But one of them reminded me of Bjork, kind of. And I was like, it's a little crazy. The experimental artists aligning some of their sounds. But I was listening to it more, and I was like, damn, this is like car seat headrest if making a door less open was good. Um, I think it was kind of like that pop and like electronic sound, and I was like, okay,
Mm.
Shushu knows what they're doing, and then car seat headrest tried to do it 20 years later, and they couldn't. Um, I think what I also believe this is
So
like the
true.
most accessible album I'd say compared to the other two. I think that you could have a lot more easier time listening to this if you don't listen to this type of music, or if you listen to more pop songs. I think I was listening to it, and I think it starts off great. I think
Mm.
Crankheart and Isle of the Valley O are some of my favorite tracks. Um, but then after that, I think I started to lose interest in the album, and I don't care for it as much. Um, I also wanted to point out, I forgot. I think it's like Support Your Troops or something. I was just listening to that and I was just like, Jesus fucking Christ. That was fucked up. And it's
Yeah.
like, damn, that's crazy, dog. Same issues 20 years later.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Um I think again, I think there's some cool ideas, but like seeing it all come together as an album, um I don't think I fully agreed with it. So those are my my
Interesting.
thoughts.
I fully agree with Crankheart and I Love the Valley being top,
Bangers,
potentially top two,
bangers.
like all timer tracks. And this like sonically is the most accessible. Maybe of all their albums, but definitely of these first five. Um, and for me, it did not fall off.
Mm.
In the middle, I think is the slowest part, but I think it finishes really strong as well.
I also
Uh,
liked Nisa's pieces. I think is what it's called.
Niece's Pieces and Clown Town, and even Brian the Vampire and Mike to a slightly lesser extent, I really loved. I think Fabulous Muscles initially I didn't like, but it's grown on me. Um, Support Our Troops O is my least favorite, but mostly because it's like really like it's heavy handed. Uh, it's it's but it's right. Like it is true and righteous, but also like unbearable to listen to. So I it's like a skip every time, but not because it's like a bad song, but just because like what it's saying is so
Just dark.
it's too real. Like it's something that affects everyone. And that everyone should be aware of. Whereas a lot of the other really dark, sad stuff has like a tinge of hope to it, or isn't, or is a very personal experience for Jamie that maybe the listener can't relate to, but can like sympathize with. Um, So that's a skip. And if that song wasn't on the album, I would tell anyone to just listen to this album. It's incredible. It's challenging still on songs like Fabulous Muscles and like Brian the Vampire. Um, I think it improves upon both of the previous albums by being more cohesive, by taking some risks, and like even though there's pop elements, like is it really pop music or is it just better, you know? Like that's kind of where I
It's
come through
true. I see
cuz
that.
some of them I'm like is this it's not really a pop song. Like Niece's Pieces and Clown Town are not really pop songs in a traditional sense, but they are catchy. Like and that makes me like them more. So I this is my first S. Um
Damn.
yeah. Uh
Um, I give it a strong 6 or a light 7 out of 10.
the Jamie Lee Curtis of songs. Yeah, this album is a little bit of everything. Aw. Thanks, Chambers. I know you're already gone, but if you listen to this later,
It's the Jamie Lee Curtis of songs.
that's a deep cut. That's a deep cut. Well, it was like the Golden Globes or Emmys, like fucking 2 years ago. The host did a song or like a rap that was like just talking about celebrities, and it was really cringe. And one of the lines was like, "Jamie Lee Curtis, you are all of us."
What?
It's so bad. I'll send you the clip later, but that's what that refers to. Yeah, I'm surprised. I hope you listen to it more. I hope it grows on you,
Well, we
and
still have
we can
time.
move it up in the rankings. Yeah, in hindsight, because I think it holds up in a way that
Mm,
the other two don't. Like, there are no misses on this album, and I think the
yeah.
other twos, at least for me, have
Oh,
a miss or two or three. Do I have
the
any fun
glasses are
facts for
coming off.
this? Oh yeah. Let's see.
Now I'm just bald.
Oh yeah. My personally, like, some of my least favorite type of shoo songs are the ones where it's like not a lot going on. It's like one or two instruments and then a very slow, like, verse and like
Yeah.
maybe a chorus if we're lucky. Like Tonight and Today is a really good example of that, where like it's kind of a ballad, but there just is almost nothing going on in the song,
Yeah.
and there are none of those tracks on Fabulous Muscles. Another reason that it is more poppy and fun, like the pace of it is great,
Yeah.
the energy of it is great, so the listening experience benefits. Um, and then I also got to see Shoo Shoo live. Uh, Definitely not at all why I picked them as an artist. Them playing in SF right after I picked them had nothing to do with it at all. Um, and they played off of this song or this album. They I think they only played Fabulous Muscles, which was a little tragic. But
Damn.
they played it as an encore, and uh, the live version was really cool and made me like appreciate the track more. Um, because Jamie did it like alone with just the electric guitar, and it was super pretty. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I'll get to comment on a couple songs as we go through and be like, yeah, I heard this live. That's the first one. Um, oh no, that's not true. Suha, and they also played Suha and Sad
Mm.
Pony Girl, but I just fully forgot to mention it.
Damn.
I don't think it affected my opinion on those tracks though, because they were already so good. You good?
I that my head started hurting. I took all
Oh
of it
no.
off.
No.
I was giving myself a
I was
headache.
Macking panels.
Okay.
Fannels? Flannels. So where are we putting this?
Um, I don't really care for right now because I feel like most of it. I think like S or A. I'm good with either of those. We'll see
Alright,
where it lands in the future.
I wanted an S, but I feel like that's dishonest because you had it at like solidly at a B, so
Yeah.
we should just put it in A,
Okay.
which is hilarious. We'll just have three A tiers.
I'm like I think it's a little hard when we're covering less albums because it's like comparing it
Mhm.
because maybe it's just like oh that's A to us, but then like the grand scheme of like their whole discography, like we don't know yet.
Well, the next two are easier for me, but
Yeah. Oh.
oh fuck, am I? Is it me?
Yeah, you start the La Forêt. Did you know that that's
For
French
it,
for the forest?
I did know this. I did know this. Um, I don't have a lot to say about this. When I when I listened to it the first time, I was like, "Is this even like a C tier?" And then I re-listened and I was like, okay, overall, it's like nice. It was rewarding. Like there were things to notice about almost every song where I was like, oh, okay, they did something interesting here. But there isn't a single song that I'm like, this is an all-timer. This is incredible. My favorite was Pox, but that's doesn't mean it's like even at
Hmm.
the same quality level of any of the other favorite songs I've mentioned so far. I don't think it is. I just think it stood out on this album in a way that like none of the other songs did. They all kind of just blend together for me. Um, I think I'll have to revisit it because I'm fine with listening to it. I didn't dislike it at all. Um, there were cool moments, but every song I kind of came away from being like, yeah, that was all right. And then I hated Saturn. That was like
Damn.
maybe my least favorite of every song so far. Nah, I liked Walnut House less, but not by much. Um, so overall, I'm very mid on this, and I would put it in B.
In B.
Mhm.
All right. So I think I agree with most of the things you said.
Mm.
Um, I ended up saying I was bored for most of it. I think the ideas here are a lot more subtle in sound.
Mhm.
Like it's. I think it was almost like I don't know if it was trying to appeal for a larger audience or have some other stuff, but I was like, oh, some of the ideas just like aren't as crazy or as interesting as the past couple of albums have been. Um, and so like after I finished it and like listened to it a couple of times, I was just like, damn, that's crazy. I don't feel like returning to really like any of these songs on the album. I didn't really care about it. I guess I did say my favorite tracks were Pox as well as Bog People. Um, I think beyond that, I said I I said feels whiny and cringe if anything. Not good. I think it was kind of like that trope of like, oh, life is hell, which it can be, but like after hearing 4 albums of it and not offering up something new, I feel like that fourth time, that's where I was just like, all right, get over it.
uh,
To put it as as blunt. But yeah, I think it was just kind of like I got bored, so I give it a light 5 out of 10.
damn,
Mm-hmm,
the five is tough.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I think Yellow Raspberry was my second favorite. Bog People was my third though. Uh, the
Trying
only
to
reason it
forget the
wasn't
burden of being the world's busiest music nerd.
I saw that. I didn't like the siren type sound that Bog People had. It was a little shrill. Uh, but yeah, there were a lot of little like bells or whistles on it that kind of ruined or degraded the quality of a lot of these songs. Like there's a weird like shattering sound in the background of Muppet Face that I don't understand at the moment. I didn't do enough research on this song or this album or the Air Force yet, so I don't know the full context.
You know, Muppet Face was the name of a cat,
Yeah,
and the cat's nickname was MF.
that's awesome.
Muppet Face.
And then Mousy Toy comes
I think the
after.
cat died.
That's that makes a lot of
Like it
sense.
died like when the song was coming out or something.
Oh, that's sad. Uh, yeah, I was bored by a few of these songs as well, which is unfortunate. Um, I am gonna re-listen before the end of this, but this is definitely of the five the lowest.
Not
I
good.
kept I didn't put it I put it at B just because we out of the five like we only have five albums so
Yeah.
far, so I
I'm
feel like
down to
the
put it at
range of
C right
quality
now though. I don't give a
I'm
fuck.
fine with that too. I think that for the Societycore rating is more accurate.
Yeah.
Because you have it as a 5. So
Yeah. All right. Is it time for? Are we moving on to the fifth
it
album?
is. It's time for the Air Force.
The Air Force. All right. This one I listened to yesterday. For the
Yeah,
first
you were a
time.
little behind.
I was really on top of it, and then Halloween weekend came, and that was the crazy 3 days of my. For 3 days in a row, I think that was the craziest amount of shit I'd done in 3 days in a row. Um, and I think I had just started Fabulous Muscles, so then like the past 2 days, I finished that, blasted through LaForet, and then the stream died. Oh, that might just be Krish. Oh,
It's good for me.
okay, yeah. He was like, I think the stream died, and they said, never mind, my YouTube shit itself. uh, um, but yeah, so then I started listening to this, and I was just like, if it's anything like LaForet, I was gonna be devastated. But it was not, in my opinion. I like this album a lot. Let me see what stuff that I said. Um, Oh yeah, so I thought it was just like again bringing like some of that similar experimental sound from before, but like doing some unique stuff in it. I think they brought in some other hints of different genres. I think there was one song where I was like, oh, this is kind of almost like Midwest emo, or kind of like the math
Yeah,
rock with some of the twinkly guitar
absolutely.
parts. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like I was just surprised that that was on some of the tracks.
The pineapple versus the watermelon, I
Yeah,
think.
that's even
One of
like a
your
Midwest emo
favorite.
song title. Like,
Yeah,
the fuck?
absolutely.
Um, yeah, it was like more depressing stuff, but there was like some more like upbeat shit going on. So it kind of reminded me of Fabulous Muscles in that sense. But it was like, okay, these are just like fun songs, like shit you could like sing along with, despite like the most gut wrenching, depressing ass lyrics you've ever heard. Um, and I thought there was some really cool songwriting. I think I did say it slows down for me a little bit in the middle, but then it picks it back up towards the end. But overall, like I really fucked with like majority of the album, and I liked it a lot.
I yeah, I think this might be the one where we're most aligned on.
Yeah,
I think it has very high highs, and then the lows are just like mid. Um, there's only one song I disliked on it, and that was Wigmaster. I think it,
the final song.
yeah, I didn't like that it ended that way because I think it had such good momentum,
Mm,
like at the start, and then it picked up again right before Wigmaster, and then it kind of ends on
just
like a
like the national
sour,
anthem
gross
by
note.
Radiohead.
I love that song. That's 11 out of 10 song, actually, if you remember our stream.
Oh yeah, I do remember our stream from June of 2023.
Listen,
Sick
I
fuck.
remember what I gave the songs, all right. Maybe I only gave it a 10. Oh, it also has the first like non-track, which disappointing. Saint
Non-track.
Pedro glue stick. It's just like ambient
Oh,
sounds and like 3 notes, like, and it's a minute long. So I didn't really rate it, but that uh brought brought things down for me.
damn.
But you're absolutely right that it has like a lot of the same energy of Fabulous Muscles, and it also brings in more genres. Like it starts to become more of like an eclectic album,
Mm-hmm.
which I found very fun and surprising. Like the math rock, like emo, the like almost folky vibe of like Hello from Eau
That one had
Claire.
the other person singing on it too,
Yeah,
right?
Carrie Elroy, who was an artist or fuck, a member of the band from the pre maybe from the start, but definitely from like Fabulous Muscles on, and until I think the through the next album.
Mm.
And then this is where, um,
Is it this album or the next album?
with what?
When the other member joins.
It's the well, okay. So she joins Shoo Shoo um, in two albums, like as an official member, but starts contributing on this album. So on this album, she writes some of the lyrics, and then on the next album, she's a writer and also, I think, does some instrumentation, and then she becomes an official member after that, I believe is the timeline. But I think the songwriting is more like, yeah, like the vibe changes for sure on this. Some new things happen that haven't happened before, and I personally liked it. Um, yeah, overall, I don't know.
I could say my favorite tracks were
Oh yeah.
Buzzsaw,
Mhm.
Boy Soprano. That one's fun. I really did like the Hello from Eau Claire with the
Mhm.
other person singing, Vulture Piano, and
Mhm.
then Save Me. So I think like the first half is like fucking loaded, and then
Yeah,
it just slows off, and then it kind of picks up at the end.
we
But
have
because
the
of all
exact
that, I
favorites.
gave it a solid 8 out of 10.
Solid.
So this is my second favorite out of the five.
Uh, for me, it was tied with a promise.
Okay.
So I feel like
Like
putting it right there makes a
which
lot of
one?
sense.
Before or
I would
after?
put it behind Fabulous Muscles. I feel like a
Okay.
lot of its strengths are the same strengths as Fabulous Muscles, so it's kind of like it would be weird for me to put it ahead of it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think it could have been an S tier album.
Yeah.
Like, but because they're trying so many new things, it makes sense that
Mhm.
some of it just fell short. But uh, very excited for the
I'm
next.
fucking horrified for the
Oh,
next
really?
four.
Really? Why?
I'm like I'm excited, but I'm also just like I'm like I don't. I think that's just the thing with it because like there's some artists you're like you can kind of know what some of the future. I feel like with Mitski, you're like listening to like you kind of have an understanding what, like the next couple albums are gonna be like, or like Grimes or some of the other stuff we've covered. But it's like some of these experimental ones that are like real crazy. It's like the fact that there's a fucking Twin Peaks cover album coming up down the line. It's just like it
I,
could be
uh,
fucking anything in the next album,
I guess that is a good point.
like it's
Uh,
unpredictable. Like fucking going from like the powers that be um into whatever the fuck was after that. Like two completely different fucking albums and sounds.
what are the next four? Because I don't know when Dear God, I Hate Myself actually came out.
Okay, so
Uh,
the next four
because it's off in order on Spotify.
the next four are Woman is Lovers,
Hmm.
Dear God I Hate Myself,
Oh, that is okay. Okay,
Always, and then Nina.
Nina.
And that's right
I think
before
that's a
like one of the
really
famous
solid
ones.
break. Yeah, yeah. That's when they came out with their
Angel Guts.
iconic logo, their iconic symbol, which is the crossed blades.
I feel like the final episode's gonna be loaded too.
No spoilers, but yeah, it is. That's the final episode is going to be the most loaded of any of them for sure. Because Oh No is like their longest album.
Uh-oh.
Um,
Girl with Basket of Fruit, I've heard is really good.
I'm
And the new
so
one.
excited for you to hear Girl with Basket of Fruit. I'm so excited.
Have you
Please don't
listened to that
listen to
album?
any of it. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yes, I have. That was how I heard of them
Mm.
because I
I had always
Fantana
heard of the band. I just like
reviewed it.
had never. There were parts. I think there's some shit I saw where it was just like Shoo Shoo announced this new stuff, and I'm sitting there I'm like I'm completely content, just like never checking out this band. And then it was like a couple weeks later, you're like, I'm picking Shoo Shoo for it. I'm just like, God
It's
damn it.
awesome.
I was like, all right, I guess I will be listening to their entire fucking discography.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will, and you're gonna like it.
They do a Twin Peaks cover album. Yeah, it's literally called like Shoo Shoo covers Twin Peaks or some shit.
Shushu does or plays the music of Twin
Yep.
Peaks is the name of it.
Yep.
And the album cover is like it's a perfect album cover because it's like their blade symbol and then it's extended to like
To Twin
become
Peaks. Two
two
Peaks.
peaks. It's perfect. It's so cute. I love it. Also that's some of the best like
Because they probably just
TV
wanted to cover
music
Twin
ever.
Peaks. I don't fucking know.
And I fucking love their. Well, I mean, no spoilers, actually.
Jimmy
The
Stewart's a real one. That's all you gotta know.
um,
I don't even think they got put in the fucking return, which is funny as fuck. Maybe they are in the return.
Audrey, I don't know if you've heard the music of Twin Peaks or watched Twin Peaks. I think you would like. It would make more sense why they did it because Twin Peaks is like.
No, the funniest thing is that
Yeah,
every
it's
single episode of the Twin Peaks season 3, which came out the year after, featured a different band at the end of the episode playing some music.
mm,
And Shishi was not a part of that.
damn. Wasn't it? Okay, I guess coming soon, in a future Societycore episode, we will explain in detail why they made that album. Cause
Oh, you know why?
no, I need to
Oh,
do.
you need to figure it out.
Yes, it's the show. Yeah, I need to figure it out. But
Oh my god! No,
I,
not the Twin Peaks
I see why you'd
band.
be confused with the.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the show. It's the show.
I wonder what the Twin Peaks band was named after.
Yes. Oh, they did. There is a song called Audrey's Dance. Automatically my favorite.
Next, there's a character in Twin Peaks called Audrey. Fucking
I think
Nine
this
Inch
is an
Nails is on this
insane
show.
ranking. Looking at what we have so far, 4 A's and 1 C,
Yeah,
and like
this is gonna
I
change.
don't necessarily disagree. I think some things will move, but I'm like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah,
Like in the order wise, yeah,
I think
that's
I
the
pretty much
order,
agree. I would just put Fabulous Muscles one below, but
and that's tragic to me because
it is what it
it
is.
bangs. It bangs.
I feel, I don't know. There were some that definitely was like, I need to listen to it to be caught up for the episode.
Yeah, you were falling behind, so you got to do some
Yeah.
re-listens.
I've also been trying to listen to all fucking Neil Young, but that hasn't been happening. I just hit his 26th studio album. He did like a fucking soul album with Booker T and whatever the fuck in 2002. It's called Are You Passionate, and it's bad. That's all I have to say is that it's fucking bad.
Uh,
All right.
Great. Any closing statements on part one of Shushu?
Uh, don't be like me and be like I'm never listening to this band because I don't want to. I think truly, if I had more friends that had listened to it, I would have checked them out eventually. But no, not a single soul I had ever known had talked to me about this band, so I decided not to listen to them. So I'd say check them out if you want to.
They're
They're
still
good.
coming out with music and still touring, so
Still
17
going
albums,
at it.
pretty impressive. Their drummer is like 73, something
What the
like.
fuck?
Yeah, wait. Uh, what's his name? David Kendrick. Oh no, he's 69. Nice. It was awesome. After the live show, he looked like he was about to die. Like after almost every song, he looked like
My
he
God.
was about to die.
Jesus
Not actually. He did a
Christ.
really, really good job. He just also looked very
Oh
tired.
my God.
which makes sense. Touring at 69, playing drums. That's
Sick bastard.
so that's just incredible. It's incredible. Round of applause for him.
All right. Thank you to our special guest Anthony Fantano for making an appearance this episode.
Woo!
He really showed up, put out, said that his favorite album was by Linguata Ignota. Um, Talked about ex-military, said how he hated my dark twisted fantasy. Maybe I'll make an appearance next episode. Who knows? He might have too bad of a headache again. But thank you guys for tuning in. Next episode soon, hopefully.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, Streaks.